My name's Shanta Brandt-Lassen, and welcome to Motherhood Unplugged 2.0. I just want to explain quickly about the summit and why the summit. So actually yesterday, I graduated with my doctorate. So 5 years worth of research, basically,
wow.
5 years worth of research was going into what makes adults successful being happiness, leadership, perseverance, personality, and cognitive ability. So our brain power from childhood. And one of the key statistical correlations with significance was actually mothers. And there's lots of different dynamics to that around what you do with your children and the care and the protection that you give them. But then during that quantitative piece, I started working with mothers. And the key thing they just repeated all the time was, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. So although it's like, okay, there's a kind of secret recipe here, there's things that you can do, the factors of society today are so overwhelming and so straining, and this generation of mothers are facing different things. So hence the summit is how mothers can basically reclaim their happiness, their health, and their time for this generation, from a different perspective. So I want to introduce you to Lilly Cadoch, who's basically the author of Busy Mum's Cheatsheet, which is bringing back on how you raise healthy kids. And just a little bit of why her. Award-winning author. From indie books to readers' favourite finalist. B, you also have such a holistic approach. So it's not just about nutrition, it's about the mental health of your child as well. And 3, I think that sheer passion just comes through, and that's very much evolving and for you, but there's a sheer passion in what you do, which is there's a sheer passion in what I do. So hence that's why I approached you for this summit, because I think bringing that passion and bringing both the mental and the nutrition for this generation is something that needs to be there for mothers for today. So that's a little bit of an introduction. So I'm going to go through some questions. It's a little bit like having a chat. But what do you love most about being a mother, Lilly?
I don't even know where to begin on that question. It's such a indescribable feeling. It's, I think, the purest form of love and unconditional love.
Yeah.
And being able to shape and mold and influence these, little babies into adulthood and giving them the tools and techniques to make sure that they have a happy and healthy life. That's given me the greatest satisfaction. I mean, don't get me wrong, half the time I want to pull out my hair, but it makes the whole journey worth it because it's such a special experience and I wouldn't change it for anything.
I keep on trying to pull it out, but it doesn't work. So how many kids do you have?
I have 2 boys, ages 13 and 10.
Okay. And since having those two boys then, how would you define yourself? Did you change, or how would you define yourself?
That's funny that you asked that question because I was just speaking to some of my mom friends about the same question. And we're talking how we have defined ourselves in our life as pre-kids and post-kids.
Yeah.
And pre-kids, I was more focused, of course, on myself, on making sure that I was advancing my career, what fun I was having with my friends, and just more about me mentality. And since having children, all that is just put on the wayside, and it definitely awakened this dormant maternal instinct in me to be 100% giving machine, which is I've found natural to do, even though I wasn't sure that would have been the case, being so focused on myself and my life. My personality and everything is the same, of course, but it definitely added a different dimension, more of a deeper significance, more purpose in life, and definitely something that I find extremely fulfilling.
Okay. And what challenges have you faced, or do you face today?
There's definitely quite a few challenges. Being a mom working full time is hard, and making sure that they eat healthy has been very important, because I feel if you eat healthy, then you can think healthy, and then you can take action in a healthy way, and it's all kind of like a circle.
Yeah.
So getting my kids to eat healthy has been definitely a challenge that we continually work through. Also having the right healthy mindset and being positive and being able to face all the stressors that kids have today with increased academics, etc.
And so what changed? How did you start to... Those were some of the challenges, but did anything that you do change that have changed the direction that it was going into, or what changed?
Yeah, no, definitely. After a certain period of time of being overwhelmed and feeling I wasn't able to give anything 100%, I decided I needed to take action and figure out how to fix this for my family.
Yes.
And after, I guess, almost 2 decades of working in corporate America, I decided to go back to school and moonlight and go back to nutrition school, where I've always had a passion for food and cooking and such, but basically learning the tools that would help me in my household figure out how to teach my kids those tips and tools and techniques to eat healthy and think healthy. And then I implemented it with friends and then beyond.
Okay. That's probably a leading question then, because then what opportunities have come your way? Because I guess, is that how it started with you in terms of what opportunities have come that you grabbed with that?
Yeah, and I think some of that does definitely go hand in hand, because the opportunity to go back to school and allow myself that time, it was like a year program, to definitely sink into that while working, while raising kids. It was definitely, you got your
late nights.
You know how that is. And they say give something to the busiest person, because when you're so busy, you have to be organized and figure out how to keep all the balls up in the air. So that was definitely an opportunity that I was able to grab, and that helped my family. And that's where my book, Busy Mom's Cheatsheet, was born.
Okay, so actually the opportunity, and you brought all of that knowledge and working with the people that you were helping, brought it into the book.
Exactly.
Okay. Are there any kind of key tools or pieces of advice that you found useful, or you crystallized tools to the mothers of this generation that you find useful?
Oh, yes. So my book, Busy Mom's Cheatsheet, is divided into like a body, mind, spirit section. So some advice as it relates to the body section, which one tip that I have in my book, which seems obvious to most, but drinking enough water is so important. Most of us don't drink enough water. Our body's over 60% water, and it's needed for everything in your body to move efficiently. Growing up, though, was like drink 8 cups of water a day, one size fits all type of rule. But learning about this and figuring this out, how it's more customized to your needs, one tip that I can share is that you should be drinking a half an ounce to 1 ounce per pound of body weight in water. Okay. So, for example, if you're 100 pounds, you should be drinking 50 to 100 ounces of water a day, and that range depends on how active you are. Okay, so that also actually helps with kids, right? Because they're smaller, so you're looking at their body weight and how much water they should have, and then you and how much water. Okay. Right. And then not only drinking enough water, so once we got that down, there's also something new, something that I only realized in my education, is that there's certain waters that are good for you and some that are not that good for you. Ooh. And actually if you go to my YouTube page under Busy Mom's Cheat Sheet, yes, I have a water experiment video that I did with my son where we tested the pH level of probably up to 10 popular water bottle brands. Okay. To inform which ones are good for you and not that good. And what I mean by that is our bodies work best in an alkaline environment. Yeah. So, and that's what everything is flowing, everything is working well. It's kind of, if you picture a fish tank, when you first get a fish tank and you put the filter and the fish are moving and everything is great. And then with time, if you don't clean that fish tank, the water gets cloudy, the oxygen level in the water starts to deplete, and that water becomes more acidic. So there are some waters that are more alkaline and some that are more acidic, and what we want to do is drink more of the alkaline water. Okay. Yeah. Oh. That's another tip that I've learned along the way. And the good news is for busy moms who are also trying to save some money, is the best water for your family is putting a filter on your tap instead of having to waste money and buy the bottles. Yeah. I'm very much into the Swiss tap water. Yeah. And, not having lots of plastic bottles. So that's body then. So what about mind and spirit? Yeah, so for mind and spirit, another great tip it's so counterintuitive to our world today because we're always on the go. So we're on the go, the kids are on the go, taking them from here to there, back, and you never have time to like stop and just breathe. So implementing like meditation with my kids has been so important and like so grounding, and they know that they can, at least even if it's 5 minutes, they say the optimal is 20 minutes, but even if you only have a couple minutes to just kind of ground yourself, take some of those deep breaths, you actually have renewed energy to do whatever it is you were doing or want to do.
Okay. And spirit, or is meditation crossing mind and spirit as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And what's your focus now? So very much the book is gaining momentum. What's your focus now?
Yeah, so my focus now is continuing to promote the book. I've been doing a lot of like seminars in different like libraries or in different group settings where I actually do cooking demos, also sharing a bunch of tips and tricks. I think it's very important to teach your kids how to read a food label so that they're empowered and have the education when they're eating food. And my book goes into like 18 tips for foods to avoid, and very easy reading that you can implement right away with yourself and your family. And I'm also working on an Audible book, an Audible version of my book, because busy moms don't even have time to read.
This is quite true.
So, you can put it on the, earphones on the train, in your car. And then also what I want to do is to be able to, for those that rather have more like one-on-one support, I've been doing that as well, but I'm trying to make it more scalable. So I'm trying to work on like an online webinar where I can teach these tools and techniques to a larger audience and have it be more like hands-on for those that want that kind of support.
Okay, so kind of like virtual coaching, but in a program setting.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. Will it be global, or
say that again?
Will it be global?
Yes, that's the hope. That's the hope.
Okay. And is there anything stopping you at this stage, or no? I guess actually the process of writing a book is quite large in itself. But
but like as you said, we always are pressed for time.
Yeah.
And that's what may affect the speed of how quickly I can get to all everything else. But some tips there that I'd like to share, because I know it's hard for myself and everyone else, is when you, like, I have a laundry list of things I need to do for this, for, work, my kids, etc., is instead of being overwhelmed and almost like freezing and not being able to even take that first move, actually breaking it down into like small chunks and actually do a few like quick wins just to like get that momentum and get that energy flowing, and then you can kind of take on some of the later ones. As well as I'm like, when I was reading the book and now that I'm working on these other things, I put meetings on my calendar for myself. Yeah. That you have to give it the same respect as if you're having a meeting with your boss or anyone else that you would be like maybe a little hesitant to like break the meeting just to keep yourself on track.
Yeah, similar. And so one of the other things that I came across, so it wasn't just time. Time was really a big factor, but the other was around what we give our children in terms of sense making. So how our children experience the world. With your kids, your two boys, what experiences do you want your kids to give your kids to grow and to make sense of the world?
I mean, I want my kids to learn about gratitude and giving back. And I don't know if you know that quote that it's like not happy people who are grateful, but grateful people who are happy. Yeah. And teaching them that gratitude to help translate that and be able to like experience the world looking at what they do have, not what they don't have. And for example, like as often as we can, we try to do different things like that. So next month, we have good friends of ours, their daughter was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So we go and walk with them, like they're an annual diabetes walk. And just, this poor girl has to like prick her finger 10 times a day, a few of those in the middle of the night, just to like measure her blood sugar. And being there to support your friend and know also what you have. So I think that's like a big one for me, is trying to teach that and instill that, because I do think in addition to having empathy for others, I think that's also a key to your own happiness.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good focus in terms of it's those skills, those softer qualities that they have.
Yeah.
So 2 more questions.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that you wish you could go back and tell pregnant you, the first time pregnant you, that you wish you knew before becoming a mother?
That's a really good question. I had probably a few words of advice for my first time pregnant me. One is, as uncomfortable as you think it was to sleep when you're, have this huge belly and you can't get the right position, you're still going to sleep way better than you did those first 3 months. So take advantage, take naps, try to just relax and rest. And also knowing that those first few months of having a newborn and not being sleep deprived, etc., is probably one of the hardest things you'll have to do.
Yeah.
But know that, like everything else, it will pass, and try to enjoy the moment and enjoy that age. Because right now, like, my older one is going to high school next year, and I'm like, I don't even know how that even happened. And then also not to be so hard on yourself and figure out, like, I thought I had to read all these books and know how to raise kids, and like, you can do as much as you can do, but in the end, you just put your best foot forward, and things just will end up working out. And to kind of not strive for that perfection or be hard on, not to be too hard on yourself.
High school. I'm not looking forward to that bit. Time just goes so fast.
Way too fast. And people used to tell me that when I had like little toddlers, and I'm like, this is not going that fast. But it does. And
finally, what are you doing? Anything that excites that you want to share with the people attending the summit? Is there anything that excites you would like to share?
Some of it I touched in earlier, but this Audible book, definitely very excited about. I'm also working on finalizing like a PDF of a week's worth of breakfasts to get your kids to eat breakfast in the morning, because I know, like, in the mornings, most of us are pressed for time.
Yeah.
Kids are resistant to eating. But studies show that kids that eat breakfast perform better academically and athletically. And getting that habit ingrained in kids at a younger age is really important, because if they get to the point where they're not eating breakfast later on in life, it'll be very hard for them to get that habit ingrained in them. So I put together like a week's worth of different types of breakfast. One, if you have more time, like little frittata egg muffins.
Oh, wow.
To the other side of the spectrum, where you literally have 5 minutes and your kid doesn't want to chew anything. And there's a bunch of smoothie recipes that have fruits, vegetables, healthy fats, protein. So it's like health, one-stop shop. I actually have a couple of those recipes in my book as well, and on my blog on Instagram and Facebook.
And so those going out to the people in the summit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you just go to the website, busymomscheatsheet.com, and sign up for a newsletter, I'll be sending that as a free gift.
And so those will be on the links that you've got. And I think that's really useful. I would just say one of the stories that came up in the sessions that I ran here in Zurich is one of the time factors was getting out the door in the morning. Yeah, like I know, Johnny wants to scrub his teeth by himself, but I just need to get to work in the morning. So those kind of things make such a difference to mums, which is just the kind of cheat sheet around the body, mind, and spirit, but just a big difference in terms of breakfast, because the kids do need the nutrition and the fuel. So that's amazing.
And if you can get the morning off in a smooth start, it literally sets the tone for your entire day.
That's amazing. Well, thank you. So it was great to talk to you, Lilly, and I think that's an amazing gift to give, and great to speak to you on a Sunday. We're kind of talking on a Sunday. One's just coming from a barbecue, and the other is just going out to football, I think, with your son, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it is really, 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 really busy mums. So great. Thank you very much.